This video is sponsored by EA. I'm about to show you everything new in Apex Legends Season 10. There's a new weapon, Seer, a World's Edge map update, and so many small changes that are going to make Apex very refreshing to play. You've probably seen quite a bit about Seer and the Rampage LMG already, so let me first show you World's Edge, and then take a look at some of the exciting new weapon changes. World's Edge has been destroyed once again, but don't worry, this time the destruction brings about the end of the Harvester, so say hello to beautiful blue skies again. After the Harvester overloaded, the entirety of World's Edge has been ripped apart. The Harvester has shut down and emergency measures have been put in place to try and contain the spreading lava fields. The biggest destruction happens over in Trainyard. It's been completely wiped from the map, leaving a barren wasteland in its place. I know for some of you this is going to be sad to see, but it's for the best, I promise. There's no more camping up in train carts and I couldn't be happier. The other changes across the map are far more significant and much more exciting. Let's start with Climatizer. This has to be one of the biggest new points of interest in Apex Legends yet. This here is the main area for Climatizer. There are two large buildings with many floors and rooms, and gondolas or train carts allow transport between both buildings. There's high tier loot on these train carts, and in the middle of this area there's a walkway quite similar in design to Lava Fissure. There are more areas to walk around on the ground unlike Lava Fissure, and on top of that plenty of buildings and lootable areas around the outskirts of Climatizer. You then have a new larger Lava Fissure that now travels from Harvest all of the way to the edge of the map and past Climatizer. There are a few different bridges along this fissure to allow rotations through the map. The rest of the map is mostly unchanged, but then we have Lava Siphon in place of Sorting Factory. This is the same train cart buildings that are found in Climatizer, as well as a different central building, and once again lots of opportunity for movement below in the lava pits. This area has been adjusted with new rotations out of the POI too. Alright, onto what I think to be the most exciting stuff for Season 10, all of the meta changes. Let's talk about the weapons first. The Spitfire is in the care package, and it seems to be using the same stats it had before its nerf, so 19 damage per shot and 55 magazine size. And the Prowler is out of the care package. From what I understood, there's no select fire anymore, and it's not built in, so you have a simple burst fire weapon with no auto fire. And perhaps the scariest thing, the Alternator is in the care package, making it the first season to have 4 care package weapons. It feels like the Alternator has been buffed to have far better handling, but most importantly, it has the Disruptor hop-up. This OG Season 2 hop-up does increased damage to shields and absolutely shreds players very fast. It was so strong in Season 2 that they had to nerf it 2 times, and it still completely dominated the meta. I'm thinking this version's probably a toned down version of that though. The Outstar has also received a massive rework, and now has extended magazines and barrel stabilizers. I did some tests to work out how things are different. Without any attachments, the Outstar will still do 22 shots before overheating. However, each magazine upgrade gives it 2 more shots before overheating. So level 1 is 24, level 2 is 26, and level 3 is 28. The damage is still 18, and the recoil felt similar, with the barrel now offering some extra balancing. The full damage per mag can now be 504 instead of the previous 396. That's not much when compared to the other LMGs, but the Outstar is really more comparable to the ARs, with a DPS of 185. I could be wrong about this, but one balancing aspect may be that this weapon now has far smaller bullet projectiles, so you're going to be getting less headshots and less shots on target. And on top of that, the headshot damage multiplier has been reduced, so you'll do 32 damage per shot instead of 36. My guess is they wanted the Outstar to feel more like a versatile but predictable gun, instead of a weapon that sometimes instantly shreds people and at other times feels weak. The quick draw hop-up is gone, and in its place we have the boosted loader. It's for the Wingman and Hemlock. If you reload your weapon just before it runs out of ammo, the reload will be faster and its magazine capacity will be increased until your next reload, so a max Wingman mag can now be 11 and a max Hemlock can be 36. Fuse got a buff and his tactical now deals clusters of damage for much longer. I'm not sure on the exact stats, but it seems like a pretty sizable change. Caustic's gas has been improved, the damage now scales again, but it seems multiple gas sources don't increase the damage in the same way. Oh, and Revenant has had a bit of a change. When an enemy player is using Revenant's ultimate and it's about to run out, you will hear a new sound effect. You can use this sound effect to know whether to shoot the shadow or wait for it to run out so that you can shoot the players after they lose shadow form. It's a really neat way to balance the ability in my opinion. I just hope it's going to be easy to hear amongst the carnage of a live game. Alright, let's talk about the Rampage LMG next. This weapon has been covered quite a bit already, so I'll cover it briefly. It's a new heavy ammo LMG with a low fire rate and high damage per shot. It has 40 maximum bullets and 28 damage per shot. In terms of damage per mag, it's more than the Spitfires, 1,120 per mag versus the new care package Spitfires, 1,045. The Rampage's special feature is that you can use a thermite to overcharge it, similarly to a Sentinel, but instead of increased damage, it has an increased fire rate. You'll get 40 bullets or a full mag before it goes back to normal. From my test, the Rampage does 144 DPS without a thermite. This puts it 20 higher than the Anvil receiver on the Flatline and R301. So for a long range weapon, it's pretty decent. Up close though, it'll lose out to other weapons and even other LMGs. For example, the Flatline's full auto DPS is 190 and the R99 is 198. When you overcharge the Rampart, it seems to shoot about 25% faster and the DPS ends up being 187 and puts it amongst some of the highest full auto DPS weapons in the game, but it is still lower than the R99's 198 DPS. Okay, finally we have Seer. Seer is a new recon legend to stand amongst both Bloodhound and Crypto, but don't worry, his abilities don't overshadow them. Whilst Bloodhound and Crypto have very easily scannable abilities, Seer has a tactical that is a little harder to perfect, but the reward is far greater than just a simple scan. When you use Seer's tactical, you fire out a tunnel that goes through walls and is 75 meters in length. Catch any enemy player in that tunnel and you'll deal 10 damage, slow them and temporarily silence their abilities, as well as highlighting their location and interestingly their health bar for your teammates to see. Straight away you can see how this is far better than a typical Bloodhound and Crypto scan, but it's hard to get right. The tunnel is not too wide, so you're not going to have much luck just firing it randomly in the hopes to catch players. Instead, you'll need to use Seer's passive, the heartbeat sensor, which allows you to see players' heartbeats through walls. Once you're within a radius that's small enough to catch that player with the tactical, the reticle will glow orange, so it's going to take a lot of time to perfect these two abilities in tandem with each other. The silence is also just for a split second, but it can stop Valkyrie flying, cut out Pathfinder's grapple, and basically stop any ability, and it can even cancel a player's healing. Sure, they can just start it again immediately, but imagine if you catch out a player using a Phoenix kit just before they finish it. Seer's ultimate allows you to throw an object that creates a large radius for scanning player locations. If a player moves faster than crouch walking speed, they'll be picked up, and you and your teammates will see their outlines and footsteps. If players shoot, they'll also be picked up. However, one big flaw is that players can still travel through the air at any speed without getting caught. I'm very interested to see how Seer is going to evolve in the meta. Seer is a much more active recon legend. You have to get good and skillful with his abilities to actually sort of do well with him, but that valuable information is so much higher level than Bloodhound and Crypto scan, to the point where if you can get good with him, it could become very valuable for your team. So that's Season 10 in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe because I'll be diving into Season 10 in more depth as soon as it launches tomorrow on August 3rd. Thanks for watching everyone. I'll see you in the comments. Cheerio!